We've got a great lineup for you today, so let's get started. Our first speaker this morning has a unique gift for making the complicated clear. His insights on practice management and macroeconomics clarify investor needs and help advisors stand out from the crowd. He has had an unprecedented access to the top money managers in the world and hundreds of elite advisors, an experience that helped him develop an uncanny understanding of financial markets. So please welcome financial expert and investment coach, Mark Zinder. Good morning, Mark.
Thank you so much.
Nice
I greatly appreciate it. Thank you all very much for that warm welcome. Mark Zinder from Nashville, Tennessee. Have y'all been? Have y'all been yet? Oh, you're gonna love it next year. Nashville is an amazing town. I've been there for 35 years. I just love it. Famous people from Tennessee. The guy that invented the internet, Al Gore, he makes his home in Nashville. A really good friend of mine, Jack Daniels, is just south of Nashville. Elvis Presley was from Memphis, Tennessee. Don't know if you know this or not, but in 1977, when Elvis Presley passed away, there were roughly 1,400 Elvis impersonators in the world. Today, 40 years later, there are roughly 45,000 Elvis impersonators in the world. If Elvis impersonators continue to grow at this rate for the next 40 years, by the year 2057, 1 in 4 people in the world will be an Elvis impersonator. Thank you very much. John Templeton, Sir John as we used to call him, was from Winchester, Tennessee, and John Templeton is the man that I used to work for. I used to sit down with the likes of Sir John Templeton, Michael Price, and Dr. Mark Mobius. Whoa. Back in 1999, they were doing the top 10 everything. They were doing the top 10 books of the 20th century. They were doing the top 10 movies of the 20th century. They did the top 10 money managers of the 20th century. And if I asked you to name them, you could probably name them. Here they are. Number 1, Warren Buffett, number 1, Peter Lynch, number 2. My boss, John Templeton, was number 3. I also worked with Michael Price and Dr. Mark Mobius. Dr. Mobius, 2 PhDs from MIT. One more time, 2 PhDs from MIT. I would sit down with I'd say, Dr. Mobius, you got to talk to me like I was in 12th grade. And he'd start talking, and I'd say, 8th grade, bring it down, right? And what they would do is they would tell me how they saw the economy and how they saw the markets. And then what I would do is I would travel the world and I would speak on their behalf. And back then in the 90s and early 2000s, they were all rewards trips. They were the top producers at whatever firm I was speaking to. And we go to Hawaii and Bangkok. And one of y'all would say, hey, let's take the speaker out to dinner. And you take me out to dinner. And I would say, what is it that you do that's so different than what everybody else is doing that makes you a top producer? And over the years, I accumulated some of the most common traits of the most successful advisors and agents, not only in the country, but in the world. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to share some of their stories with you. I'm a magician. I've been doing magic since I was a kid. If I did a magic trick for you right now, and you go, oh my gosh, how'd you do that? And then I showed you, you would go, oh, that's so simple. What I'm about to show you are simple techniques that you can use, you can train your advisors and agents on how to use to increase their gross revenues, their commissions dramatically over the next 12 to 24 months. Now, before we get started, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. We got to talk about the DOL. Everybody's talking about the DOL, so I want to give you my perspective on the DOL as well. 1962, John Glenn climbs aboard a Mercury Atlas rocket. Now, this rocket is 76 feet 11 inches tall. The top 6 feet 11 inches, that's the nose cone. That's where he's going to sit. The other 70 feet is a tube filled with 5 million pounds of a highly explosive fuel. Have y'all ever wondered what in the world this man was thinking in 1962 as he climbed aboard that rocket? I was 6 years old. Let me tell you what I was thinking. I was thinking, gee, I thought that form of jet propulsion was pretty much widely disproven by Wile E. Coyote. All right. So 1962, he climbs aboard this rocket. They set him into space. He circles the globe 3 times. He splashes back down to the water. They pluck him out of the water. They interview him. They say, Colonel Glenn, what in the world were you thinking before they ignited that rocket? And he replied, and I quote, I was thinking that that rocket was built by the lowest bidder. I'm here to say, I don't think you get the credit. I think the Department of Labor wants our clients to do business with the lowest bidder, and you don't get the credit you deserve for what you do, and that's administering advice during periods of uncertainty right now. Right now. Now, I want to talk about how we can help you become more productive. This is a very interesting story. The guy's name is William Muir. He's a professor at Purdue University. He's a social scientist. And he wanted to know what makes people productive. What can we do to become more productive? And so in his test, he used chickens. Now, why would you use chickens? Well, because you can count the productivity. How many eggs do you lay? So this is what he did. He got a normal group of, he found just an average flock of chickens. And within that flock of chickens, he found some super chickens. Now, these chickens were more productive. They laid more eggs than all the other chickens. They were like the Jack Welches and Bill Gates of chickens. They were great. And so what he did is he separated them and he put them off to the side. And what would happen is they would lay eggs and the eggs would hatch and they had more chickens. And he did this for 6 generations. He got the most productive chickens and he put them to the side, created a group of super chickens, and then he had his average chickens over here. And then after 6 generations, after 6 generations, he wanted to know, okay, how did they do? And what you're gonna learn always surprises everybody. The average group of chickens, they were more productive than ever. They were fully feathered, they were plump, but more importantly, they were more productive than ever. Your group of super chickens over here, all but 3 were dead. They had pecked each other to death, right? It was kill or be killed. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the way we run our organizations today. We get a bunch of super chickens that had super chicken parents who went to super chicken schools, who went to super chicken Harvard and Yale, and they worked their way to Harvard Business School and Yale, and then we employ them, and we give them all the assets and all the resources, and then we throw money at it, and it fails, and we don't understand why. The point I'm going to share with you today is I'm going to show you how you can take an average group of people and have them become super chickens as well. Excuse me. So let's get started. By the way, they recently did a study. They looked at a post-recession world. They said we can't be selling in a post-recession world like we did in a pre-recession world. They looked at 10,000 salespeople across all different organizations. And they said, okay, we can put you in one of these 5 groups. Here are the 5 types of salespeople. You got the relationship builder, the problem solver, the lone wolf, the hard worker, and the teacher trainer. I can put you in one of these 5 groups. The relationship builder. Hey, I got tickets to the game. You want to go? Yeah, I want to go. The problem solver. You wake up that morning, you have a client that calls, they got a problem. You don't focus on anything else. You fix the problem. The lone wolf, they beat to their own drummer. They don't get their call reports on time. They don't get their but they're raising a lot of money, so we leave them alone. The hard worker, you want them to work three appointments a day, they do 5. You want them to work 4 days a week, they work 6. And the teacher trainer, bring something to the table. Teach me something. Teach me something I don't know. Here it is. Your job is to know what your prospects know and know it well. Your job is to know what they don't know and know it as well. So let's go through this. These are the 5 types of salespeople. This is how it breaks down. I am so sorry. 21% fall in the field of relationship builder. 14% are problem solvers. 18% are hard workers. 21% are lone wolves. And 27% are teacher trainers. Okay, let's now break it down as far as percentage of sales. What part of this group represents percentage of sales? Relationship today in a post-recession world is 7% of all sales. Problem solver, 12% of all sales. Hard worker, 17% of all sales. Lone wolf, 23%. Teacher trainer, 39%. Now, let's take this one step further. Let's talk about complex sales. Let's talk about what we do. All right, let's break it down. Relationship builder goes to almost to 0 to 4%. The problem solver, 7%. The hard worker is 10%. The lone wolf, 25%. The teacher trainer, 54%. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to do for you today is I'm going to show you how to be a teacher trainer. I'm going to show you what we can do that is simple in a complex world that you can use to stand out from the crowd. You know, there's 627,000 financial advisors and agents in America today. 627,000. There are 1,200 that are netting $1 million a year, not grossing, netting $1 million a year. How do they do it? I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you just some simple secrets that you can use right now to help you become a teacher trainer and stand out from the crowd. Now, before we get started, I want to show you what our biggest problem in America is today, right? I want to show you what the biggest problem we have. Hi, how are you? Oh, I'm great. Thank you very much. Hey, Chris, how are you? Oh, that's great. Hey, how are you? So I have a well, a terrific, and a well. Rest of y'all, are these 3 people well, terrific, and well? No, they're not. That's why I take so much Prozac. I go around all day long. I go, hi, how are you? I'm fine. How are you? I'm fine too. And I go home thinking, wow, everybody's fine. Why am I the only one with problems? We shouldn't say, hi, how are you? We should say, what type of emotional pain are you in today? That's what we should say. But we don't. We say, hi, how are you? I'm fine. How are you? I'm fine too. And then what do? We throw up on the desk. Blah, 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 blah. This is what you need. I'm about to teach you 2 phrases that'll help improve your closing ratio dramatically. Here is phrase number 1. Why do you ask? Whenever someone asks you an open-ended question, hey, Mark, what do you think the market's going to do? Oh, I'm bullish. I think it's going higher. Oh, no, I'm a little nervous about what happened yesterday. I think it may be going lower. Hey, Mark, what do you think the market's going to do? Why do you ask? I'm a little nervous about what happened yesterday. I think it may be going lower. Hey, me too. If you say, why do you ask? I promise they will tell you why they are asking. Never, 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 never. I can't put enough nevers here. Never, never, never answer an open-ended question without knowing which direction they are going. Number 2, and I just can't give this one to you. I'm going to show you how this works. Pretend like you don't know me, and I'm a prospect, and you're sitting down with me for the first time, and you're learning a little bit about me. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. Married, divorced, remarried, divorced. I know. And I'm engaged again. And it's like I'm thinking, oh, is this the line I get in to lose half my stuff? Can't wait to lose my house, my car, my furniture. Oh, look, the line's moving. Sorry, my therapist says I have to talk about it. All right, so. Married, divorced. Oh, I got 3 kids. They're brilliant. My son's getting his PhD in economics. My daughter's getting her master's in general and applied mathematics. My other daughter's about to graduate in chemistry and wants to get her PhD in neurosciences. They're just, heart disease in my family. Everybody in my family's had a heart attack in their 30s and 40s. I'm talking about brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins. Vanderbilt's done a study on my family. Here's the phrase. Because you told me that, I recommend we do this. right? Because you told me you have 3 children, and because you told me you have heart disease in your family, I recommend we put permanent life insurance on all their lives today, so God forbid something should happen to them like happened to you, they won't face the same issues that I face. What are my issues? I can't get life insurance. Oh, I can, but it's this expensive, right? Because you told me that, I recommend we do this, and you can only say that phrase if you ask enough questions on the front side, here we go, and listen to the answer. When your prospects ask you a question, are you listening to the answer, or are you waiting for your turn to talk? Oh, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The answer's in the asking, the answer's in the listening. The next time you're sitting down with a prospect or training an agent, I want you to teach them, I want you to remember this story. Thomas Edison. What was the very first invention Thomas Edison ever sold? Anybody know this? Very first invention Thomas Edison ever sold. Stock ticker tape machine. Did y'all know that? Do you know that Thomas Edison invented the stock ticker tape machine? He was 23 years old, he's a kid. He's gonna try to sell this thing. He doesn't know how much it's worth. He thinks it's worth maybe $5,000. So he makes an appointment with the president of the gold indicator company. They trade on Wall Street. He's gonna try to sell him his invention. I'm so sorry. He shows him his invention. And the president says, how much do you want for that thing? And Thomas Edison doesn't say anything. And the president of the company says, I'll give you $25,000 for it. And Thomas Edison doesn't say anything. He said, I'll give you $30,000 for it. Edison, nothing. True story. I'll give you $35,000 for it. Edison, nothing. I'll give you $40,000. That's my final offer. And Thomas Edison said, I'll take it. Guy's writing out the check, about to hand it to young Thomas Edison. And he said to Thomas Edison, I was prepared to give you $50,000. And Thomas Edison took the check and said, oh yeah? I was prepared to take 5. True story. That's a true story. Are you listening, or are you waiting for your turn to talk? Ladies and gentlemen, I've done a lot of coaching in my life, and I tell you, when I see an agent or an advisor interrupt their prospects or clients, it just drives me. Let it sit there, let it pause. When we learn in public speaking, it's what you don't say. It's the nonverbal pause. It's what you don't say that's so important. Please stop interrupting your clients and prospects. Okay, let's get started. I got in the business in 1983. I was a stockbroker. That's not me. Then in 1986, they put a computer on my desk. They called me a financial planner. And then they changed my name to an investment advisor, and now the buzzword is comprehensive wealth manager. And they wanted to know, do you practice comprehensive wealth management? And 74% of you said, yes, I do. Then they did the research. Do you practice comprehensive wealth management? And the actual number is 6.9%. Ladies and gentlemen, huge disconnect between what you say you do and what you call yourself. Oh, I know what you're thinking. Oh, no. We do investments, insurance, qualified plans, 529s. We do it all. Oh, no. That's not comprehensive wealth management. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what comprehensive wealth management is. I'm going to show you some simple techniques. I'm going to show you how to stand out from the crowd. I'm going to show you how to become the advisor of choice. Y'all know this? The average investor in America is doing business with 6 to 8 different financial professionals. I got a banker. I got a CPA, I got a life insurance agent, I got a trust officer, I got a mortgage broker, I've got 2, 3, or 4 different financial advisors or agents. When they retire, they want to go from working with 6 to 8 to 1 or 2. So my question is, will you and your agents be the advisors the money's being transferred to or being transferred from? I'm going to show you how to become the former. How about this? April 18th, 1775. Paul Revere jumps on the back of his horse. He rides north for 17 miles. He yells that famous phrase, "The British are coming, the British are coming." And 90% of the people that heard his battle cry went and fought in the Revolutionary War, 90%. At the exact same moment, another gentleman jumps on the back of his horse. He rides north, he takes a different route. He yells the exact same phrase, "The British are coming, the British are coming." But only 10% of the people that heard his battle cry went and fought in the Revolutionary War. So here's my question to you. Who is the other guy? Now, what you're thinking is Longfellow wrote a poem about Paul Revere. That's why we remember Paul Revere. No. At the time, Paul Revere had a 90% success ratio versus 10% for William Dawes. Why don't we remember William Dawes? Why don't you remember Dr. Samuel Prescott? He was the guy that was captured and escaped. Why don't you remember Israel Bissell, who rode south for 300 miles? They all said the exact same thing. They said it with the exact same level of enthusiasm. Why was Paul Revere more successful? Forget that for a second. Back at you. What is the number one reason why clients will leave you? What's the number one reason why clients will leave you? Lack of communications is number one. Lack of trust is number two. Performance is number 7. What do we focus on? We focus on performance. Just call me back. They just want to call back. High net worth individuals want to call back in no less than 3 hours. All right, how about this? The airline industry. They've never strung together more than 3 profitable years in a row. Bankrupt Airlines, Eastern Airlines bankrupt, Braniff bankrupt, Pan Am bankrupt, People Express bankrupt, US Air bankrupt twice, American Airlines coming out of bankruptcy. Oh, this merger between American and US Air, that's gotta work, right? Warren Buffett says, do you wanna be a millionaire in America? It's so simple. All you have to do is start with $1 billion, buy an airline, and you'll be worth $1 million. That's how you do it. But out of all this carnage, one airline has been profitable 40 years in a row. Who is it? Southwest. Now, how can Southwest do it? These other airlines can't do it. Don't they all do the exact same thing? Don't they take people from point A to point B? And if you're lucky, your luggage will make it as well. How do they do it? Oh, well, forget that. At what point does Richard Anderson, the CEO of Delta, not wake up and go, oh my gosh, we should copy their business model? What's their business model? What is it that they do that's so different than what all the other airlines are doing that they can string together 40 profitable years in a row? What is it they do? The inexpensive. All right, okay. They hedge the fuel cost. Okay, what else? What else? Customer service. Yeah, that's good. That's good. What else? Great experience. Absolutely. What else? What else? There it is. They only fly one type of plane. They only fly Boeing 737s. That's all they fly. Why is that important? Every mechanic can fix every plane. Every pilot can fly every plane. There are spare parts for every plane in every city. Ever been flying Southwest? You're waiting at the gate. There's your plane right there. You can see it through the window, and they have you move gates. Why do they have you move gates? Because that plane has a mechanical problem. And rather than have you wait 2, 3, 4, 5 hours, they're going to move you to that gate. That plane just came in. The people waiting on that plane now move them to another gate, and they'll keep doing that until they fix that first plane. And they can do that because every plane is the exact same size. Does that make sense to everybody? This is what makes Southwest different. Why doesn't Delta do it? I can't do it. I got the big ones, I got the small ones, I got the jumbos, I got them all. Back at you. What makes you stand out from the crowd? What makes you different? 627,000 of us doing the exact same thing. What makes you stand out? How about this? The Atlantis Hotel. Anybody been to the Atlantis Hotel? Fabulous. Isn't it great? Isn't it great? I've been in this hotel 30, 40 times. Let me explain. The hotel's in Nassau in the Bahamas. And John Templeton used to live in Nassau in the Bahamas. And this is the hotel I would stay in when I would visit Sir John Templeton. Let me tell you about this hotel. It was owned by Donald Trump. He bankrupted it. Merv Griffin bought it. He bankrupted it. Saul Kirshner bought it and turned it into that. One of the most outstanding hotels I've ever been to. I've met Saul Kirshner. I have his business card. On his business card is his tagline. And his tagline reads, blow the customer away, right? Does he do it? Does he do it? What's your tagline? Who are you? What makes you stand out from the crowd? What makes you different than the competition? What's your value proposition? Have you written that silly thing yet? Have you written your value prop? Some guy like me is leading the class, oh, you have to write your value prop now. And so you write it, and I'll leave. I'll come back in 15 minutes. I call on you to stand up in front of the crowd and read your value prop out loud. And as you're reading in the back of your head, you're thinking, I will never utter these words as long as I live, right? Have you written that silly thing yet? I'm going to help you out. I've written it for you. I'm going to show you what to say and how to say it. It is so fundamentally simple. By the way, 42% of all salespeople have a value prop. 92% of all top salespeople have a value prop. What is your value proposition? Who are you? What makes you different? What makes you stand out from the crowd? What is your message? How do you stand out from the crowd? Have you all seen this book? This book is called Free, written by Chris Anderson. Chris Anderson is the contributing editor to The Economist magazine. He used to be the editor of Wired. He wrote the book, The Long Tail. He has an advanced degree in quantum mechanical physics from George Washington University. He writes this book, and he says you can't be selling in a post-recession world like you did in a pre-recession world. So he writes the book Free. Anybody want to guess how much the book is? No, it's $26.95. Download it on your Kindle, and it's free. What he says is, today everything is free. Dad, don't pay for that. I'll get that for you for free. 5.3 million apps on your Android and Apple device. How many of them are free? Most of them are free, but they charge you a premium if you want the premium service. This is the new business model going forward. Back at you, what do you give away for free? Oh, I'll give them my advice. No. What a value do you give? Well, I give them flowers for their birthday. I give them a fruitcake for it. No. What a value do you give away for free in today's post-recession world? And I'm going to show you. Right? Also, something called Decision Simplicity, written by the Harvard Business Review. They said to keep your clients, you got to keep it simple. The single biggest driver of stickiness by far is decision, description, design, simplicity. What consumers want from us is simply simplicity. Ladies and gentlemen, we talk in alphas and betas and R squares, and our clients can't do simple math. Oh, Mark, don't be crazy. That's ridiculous. Oh, no. I got to show you this. McDonald's famously has the quarter pounder. A&W came out with their 1/3 pounder. They wanted to compete with the McDonald's quarter pounder. And it was the same price, but it didn't sell. And they put the market research teams together. Why isn't this thing selling? And this is what they discovered, that the average American saw that the number 4 was bigger than the number 3. Hey, this presentation has been vetted through compliance. I don't make this stuff up, right? Our clients can't do simple math. And we're talking to them in alphas and betas and R squared. Watch this. A 20% increase in decision simplicity resulted in a 96% increase in customer loyalty, an 86% increase in likelihood to purchase, and a 115% increase in likelihood to recommend to others. So my question is, what can we do that's simple and free? What can we do to stand out from the crowd? So I gotta tell you what happened to me. I bring my second wife, Beth, to the hospital. She's got a migraine headache. It won't go away. We go to Vanderbilt University Medical Center. We wait in the waiting room. Then they bring us to a smaller room, and the doctor comes in, and he says to my wife, Beth, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is your headache? And she said, 12. He went, no. 10 is horrific, 1 to 10. And she said, 12. And he said, Mr. Zender, can I see you out in the hallway for a minute, please? And we go out in the hallway. And he says, I want to do a CAT scan and an MRI. I said, Doc, what do you think the problem is? He goes, I want to check for brain tumors, aneurysms, and lesions. All I hear is the word brain tumor. He said, I need you to talk to my nurse. Nurse comes over, she's got this form. Have you all been to the hospital lately? Does your wife have a living will? Do you have a durable power of attorney in case of incapacity? I need a list of all the prescription drugs your wife is currently taking. I call Walgreens. I need a list of all the prescription drugs my wife is currently taking. Walgreens says, can't give it to you. Why not? Why not? HIPAA laws, right? If you had a power of attorney, I could give that to you. Oh, when I got one of those, I drive home. Now, Beth is at the hospital with a 12 headache. This is her second marriage as well. I drive home. I go to my credenza. I'm in the business. Here it is. Oh, here it is, here it is, here it is. Oh, doggone it. It's from her previous marriage. Her ex-husband is her durable power of attorney in case of incapacity, which means if she goes comatose on the table, guess who gets to make the decision to pull the plug? What is he going to decide? Pull it like a lawnmower is what he's going to decide. Here's the article from USA Today. Difficult patients can test doctors' patience. What does it say? We go to the hospital totally unprepared. Help her, help her, help her. She's in pain. We have attorneys breathing in our back. We're not going to do anything until you provide us with this information. So I went to the hospital totally unprepared. I didn't have my house in order. Oh, don't raise your hand. Just out of curiosity, do you have your house in order? Oh. Do you think your clients have their house in order? You know that 53% of the people that died last year died without a will. One more time. 53% of the people that died last year died without a will. 50% of the people in the towers of 9/11 didn't have a will. 57% of families with small children don't have a will. 43% of high net worth individuals don't have a will. All right, let's name some people that died without a will. Y'all go first. Prince didn't have a will. Pablo Picasso didn't have a will. Michael Jackson didn't have a will. Abraham Lincoln, wasn't he an attorney? He didn't have a will. Steve Mcnair, Tennessee Titan quarterback, shot and murdered roughly 5.5, 6 years ago. Had an agent, had a manager, had a $19.6 million estate, and he died without a will. You know, he had given his mother a house, and they took the house away from her. This guy, Gary Coleman, he had 3 wills. He didn't have any money. Oh, I love this. 32% of people would rather give up sex for a month than do a will. 32%. How about this? Estates of famous people. Famous people that failed to do an estate plan. Let's go to the bottom of the list. Frederick Vanderbilt, Alvin Ernst, J.D. Rockefeller, J.P. Morgan. Excuse me, aren't a couple of you guys kind of like in the business? Now, Stan Laurel, a comedian, he does an estate plan. People in the business don't do one. Ever have a client do an estate plan but won't sign the darn thing? Why won't they sign it? Because they don't get it. I'm giving all of my money away. You know what I'm looking for? I'm looking for a single point of contact who will communicate with me that I trust. And if you will be that person, I will give you all of my financial assets to invest. Oh, Mark, I've got all of my clients' assets. Oh, no, you don't. Oh, yes, I do. Oh, no, you don't. Oh, yes, I do. Oh, no, you don't. Only 29% of investors in America have all their assets with one advisor. You want to grow your business, you want to help your advisors and agents grow their business, then just get all the assets from the clients that you already have. It's so fundamentally simple. Watch this. Estates of 3 million plus. 47% don't have a healthcare proxy. 72% don't have a comprehensive estate plan. 60% haven't created a trust document whatsoever. 30% don't even know where their documents are. 54% haven't organized their online passwords. 54% haven't told their executive how to access it. 58% haven't organized their online passwords. Why is this happening? Because they're working with 6 to 8 different financial professionals. I thought you were going to do it. I thought you were going to do it. I thought you were going to do it. And nobody's doing it, and it's fallen through the cracks. Be the person that does it. Become the advisor of choice. Help them get their house in order. Here it is. The Wall Street Journal, the 25 documents you need before you die. Every single one of y'all wants this article. Now let me help you out here. I'm gonna make all this stuff available to you. You want the presentation, you want this stuff, send me an email. The email address, mark@markzinder.com. So just go to my website. We're gonna send this to you for free. Now let me tell you about this Wall Street Journal thing right here. The Wall Street Journal is kind of finicky. They want you to be a subscriber to the Wall Street Journal to be able to download the article. So if you can't download the article, we've rewritten the article. And what we've done is not only do we go through the 25 documents you need, living wills, powers of attorney, medical directives, but we give you the URLs to send you to the American Bar Association or AARP to get these forms for free. This all stuff is for free. So let us help you out here. Go to my website, ask for this presentation. We're happy to send it to you. Let me send you these articles as well. Help your clients get their house in order. And what it says right here is you can store the documents in a safe deposit box or a fireproof safe. No. You don't want to keep them in the bank safe deposit box. Why not? Because of this article right here. Where's that advanced care directive? From the New York Times. It happens every week. Client comes to the hospital, oh, help her, she's in pain. And do you have your medical powers of attorney? No, where are they? They're at the bank safe deposit box. Can you get them? Well, it's Sunday, they're closed. You don't want to keep them in the bank safe deposit box. You want to keep them on your purse. You want to keep them with you. You want to keep them in a fireproof safe. I'm going to show you how this works in just a second. If you're interested in this stuff, once again, go to my website, go to resources, come up here to writing your book. And then there are the articles and there's the stuff. Once again, this is all for free. I want to help y'all, help your clients as well. Leonard Cohen said it just before he died. He said at some point when you still have all your marbles, right, and facing all these serious financial, it's best to get your house in order at this point. Getting your house in order is one of the most comforting activities and benefits are incalculable. So you want to know what your value proposition is? Here it is. This is so simple. It's so simple. Your value prop is, I want to help you get your house in order. We want to do this in an organized, methodical manner. I want to help you do what you haven't done, whatever you say after that. But your main point is, I want to help you get your house in order. No one else is helping them do this. Be the agent, be the advisor that does this and stand out from the crowd. All right, let's get serious for just a minute. Leading causes of death in America. You all want a genius sales idea? Leading causes of death in America, y'all tell me what number one is. You know what number one is? Heart disease is number one. What's number two? You know what number two is? Cancer is number two. What's number three? Accidents? No. What's number three? What's number three? Y'all ready for this? She said it. What is it? Medical malpractice is number three. Did y'all know that? Last year, somewhere between 210,000 and 440,000 people died of medical malpractice. 107,000 people died of drug interaction. The average American over 65 years old will take 11 different prescription drugs this year. The average American over 85 will take 14 different prescription drugs this year. Oh yeah? I've had a heart attack. I carry these things with me. Someone tell me what these are. Nitroglycerin, don't shake it, nitroglycerin. If I drop to the ground, someone put one of these under my tongue. However, if I had taken Cialis the night before, the combination of the two will kill me. It's a risk I'm willing to take. 7,000 people died of sloppy handwriting. One more time, 7,000 people died of sloppy handwriting. Here's the rest of the list. You want a genius sales idea? Here's a true story. I got a friend named Kevin. Kevin's my Starbucks buddy. Now, Kevin, he has a daughter who went to Auburn. Now, Auburn's about 5.5 hours southeast of Nashville. Last April, she's a freshman. He gets a phone call, 3 o'clock in the morning. It's the hospital. They're admitting his daughter into the hospital. And they're calling Kevin to get his insurance information. He went, oh my gosh, what's wrong? And they said, I'm sorry, Mr. Higdon, we can't tell you. Why not? Why not? HIPAA laws. She's 18 years old. She's the age of majority. He said, may I speak to my daughter? And they said, I'm sorry, she's incapacitated at the time. He finds himself getting in the car, driving 5.5 hours to Auburn to determine that his daughter was having an emergency appendectomy. Everything was okay. But imagine that car ride. Oh, just out of curiosity. Anybody in the room have any children that are 18 years old or older? Maybe off at college? Help them with their pillows, their blankies, their books. How about their powers of attorney and the medical directives? If something happens, they won't even send you the grades anymore, will they? You think they're gonna tell you what's wrong if your child has to go to the hospital? Each and every one of you that has a child over 18 needs to go and make sure you've got your powers of attorney in place. Oh, what about your clients? You need to reach out, rule of 72 in the next 72 hours and make sure every client and prospect that you know that has a child that is 18 years old or older, make sure they've got their medical powers of attorney in place. Where do you get this stuff? Once again, for free. Come back to my website, come back to resources, come down here to advanced directives, and we're gonna list all the states and all the advanced directives that you need, all for free. Now, whoa, this is important. Let's say you live in Tennessee, your child's going to Alabama. Do you need a Tennessee power of attorney? Do you need an Alabama power of attorney? You need an Alabama power of attorney, right? Make sure you get the right one. Now, in all honesty, either one would really work, but they prefer to have the right one. So make sure you have it. They're different in a lot of states. So, oh, you want a genius sales idea? Graduation is right around the corner. Reach out to your local high schools. Because what's happening right now is they're going to get the teachers and the parents and the students together. Oh, you're about to graduate high school. You need to order your capping gown and fill out FAFSA. And you talk to the principal and say, I want to talk to the parents for 10 minutes. And you tell the story I just told you. Do not let your 18-year-old child go off to college without coming to see me first and help them get their house in order. Now, here's the problem. These forms are 8 pages long. And now you got to keep up with this stuff, sweetheart. God forbid you're at a fraternity party and you get sick, you go to the hospital. You got to bring this form with you. So what we did is we created something called an ICE key. It's nothing more than a thumb drive that goes on your keychain. And it's got the ICE logo on it. What does ICE stand for? In case of emergency. Everything a first responder that needs to see. Let me tell you what happened. I was doing a meeting like this. I had a blank thumb drive on my keychain. I said, people, we should help our clients get the medical stuff on the key. And someone said, where do you get that? I went, I don't know. There's got to be something online. We went online, nothing. There was nothing. So we created it. This is just our idea of what to give away for free, right? It's 5 pages of pre-programmed forms. Who are you? Who's your emergency contact? What proper medical procedures have you had? What prescription drugs are you taking? What's your blood type, for goodness gracious? Who are you, right? It goes on your keychain. Everything a doctor, a nurse, and an ambulance driver needs to see right here, right? Now, a couple of things. Number one, it's not password protected. No financial information goes on this. No social security number. It's just, who are you? Number two, it's HIPAA compliant, right? We have a letter from a law firm. It's HIPAA. It's not going to the cloud. You're not retaining the information. It stays with them. Number 3, we'll even put your logo on the back of the key if you want it as well. Just one of our ideas, just something, I don't know, maybe something that you can come up with something else. I don't know. This is from Blair Braden. He tried this. He said, I got a client with $50,000. I'm going to try this. And he sits down with the husband and wife. And he said, I'm not here to talk about your wealth today. I'm here to talk about your health. And he shows them the key. And the husband gets up and he walks away. And he goes, that's kind of weird, but he's always been kind of standoffish about money. And then Vicky says, we need something like this. And then the husband comes back with his $1.1 million portfolio and says, will you manage our money? Because finally someone talked to him rather than talking at him. To them, what was important to them, not what was important to the advisor or the agent. And then he said, I tried with another client, and they didn't have any more money, but they turned me on to the best friend who had $2 million at Schwab, right? Y'all with me on this? A simple idea that generated $3 million in new assets on a simple idea. What are you giving away for free? What of value are you doing to help your clients? And there's a yellow dot program as well in some states. Yellow dot, you put a big old adhesive yellow dot on the back of your windshield in your car, and then you put all your documents in your glove box, and that way the first responders know what's in your glove box. There's so many different ways you can do this. Please, will you please help your clients get their house in order? Why don't we do it? Why don't we do it? I know why you don't do it. It doesn't generate gross commissions. So we're doing investments, insurance, qualified plans, 529s. You're doing that stuff, but you're not doing this stuff. Be the person to help them do this stuff. Become the advisor, the agent of choice. I promise it works. I love this is a letter we got as well. I've never seen a simpler way of really servicing your clients. And then what we also did based on this article is we created the file folders that go in a fireproof safe with all the folders and all the documentations and all the instructions on how to get your house in order. I put one of these, I helped my dad was a World War II vet, and he passed away about 4 years ago. And I helped him with the safe and get his house in order. And 6 months before he died, he had a stroke, and he was paralyzed from the waist down. And a social worker came from the VA, and he said to my dad, Mr. Zinder, you gave to America in America's time of need, World War II. He said, it's now our turn to give back to you in your time of need. He said, we have extra money for you every month. We have a nurse that's going to come by 3 times a week. He said, I need 3 things from you. I need your driver's license, I need your social security card, and I need your discharge papers for World War II. What act of Congress is that going to take? And Dad turned to me and said, son, will you get them for the man? They're in my safe. And I was able to go from his bed to his closet, hand them to the social worker, and all the benefits started immediately. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't know that you need this stuff until you need this stuff. And that's the worst time to start looking for this, all right? Help your clients get their house in order. Now, I don't want to be the gentleman that says, hey, you can buy my stuff when I'm done, but if you're interested in looking at this stuff, we have a table right outside the room. If you want to look at it and see what the keys look like. But I hope you've learned something today. Also, Monday mornings, if you send me an email, every Monday morning we send out 7 talking points. And there's stats, facts, quotes, and quips, single lines, maybe sometimes 2 sentences. And the reason I'm bringing this up is, let me put you on this list as well. And the reason why is because y'all are always going, I'm looking for something to put on my social network, my LinkedIn, my Facebook. You don't need to call, you don't need to write, you don't need to ask. I'm giving you my permission right now. Please repost these. They're cited, they're all compliance approved. And so when I send these to you Monday morning, please repost them. This is something you can do to help your social networking as well. All right, so what does it take to be successful? I got 10 more minutes. Let's bring this thing to a close. I love the way George Burns said, sincerity is the secret to success. And once you can fake that, you got it made. I think it's enthusiasm. If you're enthusiastic about what you're selling, your clients will become enthusiastic about it as well. Enthusiasm is caught, it's not taught. I love the way Vince Lombardi said, if you aren't fired with enthusiasm, you will be fired with enthusiasm. So what does it take to be successful? Have y'all read this book? Let me just tell you what it says real quick. I read it when I was 16 years old. It says, decisions are made for you all day long. What time you have to be at work, what time you get to eat lunch, what time you get to go home, what you have to wear. You get to make a handful of decisions. One of the decisions you get to make is, do I go through life positive? Do I go through life negative? That's your choice. You know we default to negative, right? Why do we default to negative? 50,000 years of evolution. You're being chased by a lion. I need to go run up a tree, right? You default to negative. You have to try to default to positive. I'm going to show you how to be successful because I've met some of the most successful people in the world. This is the success cycle right here. And everyone's doing this whether you know it or not. And there's no halfway. It's all or nothing. And I'm going to show you how this works. The first question is, what is your potential? And the answer is, your potential is unlimited. Now, if you're 5'7", you're not going to win the NBA slam dunk competition, right? Wrong. In 1986, Spud Webb, 5'7", wins the NBA slam dunk competition. Try telling this kid who had a 44-inch vertical jump that he couldn't do it. So your potential is unlimited. So if you have unlimited potential, the next question is, what is your belief system? Do you believe that you can do this? Arnold Schwarzenegger comes to America, $10 in his pocket, can barely speak the language. He can barely speak the language today. Right? 8-time Mr. World, Mr. Olympia, retires from bodybuilding. He makes his first movie, Pumping Iron. His second movie, this is where I meet him, Stay Hungry. If you haven't seen the movie, don't. They're horrible. They're horrible, horrible, horrible films. And so he's being interviewed by a Sports Illustrated writer. And the writer said, Arnold, now that you've retired from bodybuilding, what will you do next with your life? And he said, I'm going to be the biggest box office draw in Hollywood history. And the journalist starts to laugh at him. And after a minute, he realized that Schwarzenegger was dead serious. And he says, okay, how do you plan on doing that? He said, I'll do it the same way I became Mr. Olympia. He goes, how is that? He said, all I have to do is picture the person I want to be and then step into the picture. If you've ever read any books on self-actualization or motivation, they all say the exact same thing. If you can conceive it and believe it, you can achieve it. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. World, Mr. Olympia, one of the biggest box office draws in Hollywood history, governor of California, a Republican and marries a Kennedy. For goodness, the man can do anything he wants to do, right? And I know how the story ends. He did whatever he wanted to do. So unlimited potential, unlimited belief, and the next question is, what type of action do you take? Who is Roger Bannister? First 4-minute mile. For 100 years, we had tried to break the 4-minute mile. We couldn't do it. We tried and tried and tried. And one day, Roger Bannister is running a race. He runs a 4-minute, 8-second mile. He said, wow, if anybody can do this, I can do this. So he starts training. And 8 weeks later, he is the first human being to break the 4-minute mile. You know what's amazing about the story? Is over the next 3 years, 27 more people broke the 4-minute mile. Oh, if you can do it, I can do it too. Back at you, 627,000 of us doing the exact same thing, 1,200 of y'all netting $1 million a year. If you can do it, they're no different than you and me. They're just doing something differently. I can do this too. Unlimited potential, unlimited belief, unlimited action, and your results will be unlimited. And you're doing this whether you know it or not. No one wants to buy anything from me now. DOL, market crash. What do you believe? No one wants to buy anything from you. What type of action do you take? Limited. What are your results? Limited. What do you say? See, I told you no one wanted to buy anything from me. Or, oh my gosh, did you all read that 20% of advisors are thinking about getting out of business this year? My clients need me. What do you believe? They need me. What type of action do you take? Unlimited. What are your results? Unlimited. What do you say? See, I told you they needed me. There's one more component to this. What does it take to get right there? What does it take to get to the very top? I'm going to teach you the secret right now. See, we're climbing this metaphorical ladder. And there are people up on the ladder looking down at you. They don't want you on their ladder. And you put a hand on that rung, and they're going to stomp on your hand, and they're going to knock you off the ladder. What you have to do is you have to dust yourself off, get back on the ladder. And you're going to get one rung higher. There's people up there looking down at you. I don't want you on my ladder. And they're going to knock on your hand. You're going to fall off. You got to pick yourself up. You got to dust yourself off. You got to back out on the ladder. This is going to happen 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. You want to know what the secret to success is? After you've been knocked down 5, 6, 7 times, can you get back on that ladder with the same level of enthusiasm you got on the first time? You want to see what it takes to be successful? I'm going to show you right here. I'm going to count to 10. I'm going to point to somebody. And if I land on you when I say 10, I want you to come up on stage just for 2 or 3 minutes. The U.S., there's a rule, we may be entering another recession. The Fed has said they may go negative on negative interest rates. I just want you to tell me how you're preparing your clients and your prospects for a potential negative interest rate. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Don't look at the guy. Don't look at the guy. All right, 6. Is your heart palpitating a little bit? Or your palms getting a little sweaty? 7, 8, 9. All right, I'm not going to do it. Did you feel that? Did you feel that? Right? That's what holds our advisors and agents back. That's what's holding you back, right? You find that comfort level. Hey, what's the number one fear in America? Number one fear in America? Public speaking is number one. What's number 2? Death is number 2. Death is number 2. Which means if you're going to a funeral tomorrow, you would rather be in the casket than giving the eulogy. That's what that means. So what we do is we find a level of comfort. We find, well, don't call on me. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. We find a level of comfort, and that's where we stay. You want to know what it takes to get to the top of the ladder? Here it is. It's so simple. Your curiosity has got to be 1 degree greater than your fear. There it is right there. Your curiosity has got to be 1 degree greater than your fear. I wonder what's up there. And what happens is you get to the top. Now people now they're looking up at you going, oh my gosh, don't carry that. Don't lift that. I got that for you. Who is it? George Patton says that courage is fear holding on for a minute longer. Water boils at 212. What does it do at 211? Nothing. It's that one extra degree. What can you do to stand out from the crowd? What can you do to make yourself one degree better than your competition? Let's bring this thing to a close. You all remember this girl? Carrie Strug, 1996 Summer Olympics, the women's Magnificent Seven. The women's gymnastics team had never won a gold medal in a fully attended Olympics. This was going to be our year. Carrie Strug, Dominique Moceanu, Amy Chow, Shannon Miller, J.C. Phelps. Carrie barely makes the team. Why? Because she had broken her back the year before. 7 girls, 4 exercises. You get 1 shot at each exercise, except the last one, the vault. You get 2 tries at the vault. I don't know why it is what it is. We're going into the last exercise, Atlanta, 1996. The vault. America's got the gold. Russia's got the silver. Shannon Miller leads us off. She runs down the runway. She hits the springboard. She does a somersault, and she nails it. America's got the gold. We work our way down to girl number 6, Dominique Moceanu. This is her event. She can do it in her sleep. She stands back. She runs down the runway. She hits the springboard. She does a somersault, and she falls to the ground. It's okay. She gets a second shot. She stands back. She runs down the runway. She hits the springboard. She does a somersault, and she falls again. Y'all remember this? In an interview, she said it felt like someone had greased the mats, and America went from gold to silver. We have one more shot. We have Carrie Strug, broke her back the year before. She needs to score a 9.41 or better. If she scores better than a 9.41, America goes home with the gold. If she scores below a 9.41, America goes home with the silver. Oh, by the way, in the Olympics, on the vault, a 9.4 is a perfect score. She needs to do 1 degree greater than perfect. 30,000 people in the gym, 800 million people watching live on television. She stands back. She runs down the runway. She hits the springboard. She does a somersault, and she falls to the ground. You all remember this? And breaks her ankle. Tears 2 ligaments. Stands up. Can't put any weight on it. Collectively, 30,000 people go, oh man, we lost again. And then you hear her coach, Bella Caroli, shake it out, Carrie, shake it out. And you got to YouTube this. You see her trying to shake it out. You can't shake it out. It's broken. You can do it, Carrie. Remember that? You can do it, Carrie. And then you see her getting back in line. And the commentator's going, oh my gosh, she's going to try this again. Oh, no, she could do permanent damage. No, she's going to try this again. No one would have blamed her if she would have turned back. But no one would have remembered her either. She stands back in line. She's got a broken ankle, 2 torn ligaments. She runs down the runway. She hits the springboard. She does a somersault, and she nails it right. Look at the look on her face. And she pulled that leg up to get scored. And then she drops to the ground, and she's pulling herself off the mat. She's waving Bella Caroli up. You got to YouTube this. Finally, Bella Caroli and his wife, when they pick this little girl up, she's crying. He's crying. Score comes up. 9-7, and she won, and the Americans won, and they pan the audience, and everybody's crying. I cry when I watch the darn thing. Why do we cry when we watch that? Because that day, you didn't see something good. That day, you didn't see something great. That day, you saw something outstanding. And that's who you are. That's who we are. That's who America is. When you fall down, just get back up. Thank you all very much. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Great job. Thank you. What a great job, Mark. Love your passion and enthusiasm, man. Unbelievable. Let's give him another round of applause.